See, it's a good team.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Another episode of Chart Talk coming at you every Monday. Me and Bennett, episode number 467. I can't believe it either. How you doing over there, Bennett? Election week. What are you thinking?
I'm doing good. I think it's going to be a fun week.
It's going to be a fun week. It's going to be a doozy. Let's get right into this market outlook. So, I mean, market's just been gradually selling off kind of into the election. Down 5% in the last 3 weeks after we had an up 5% in 3-week run. Just chopping back and forth. It seems like the market is just dying to get the election behind it at this point. I'm pretty bullish after the election. I think before the election, it's just random chop because it's such a huge market catalyst coming up. To me, it's kind of that simple. I just remember 4 years ago trading too hard before the election, and it was like such a waste of time and capital and energy. So I've been taking these last few weeks very lightly. What are your thoughts, Bennett?
Yeah, no, I mean, same thing. One of the members put in the Alpha Chat an interesting historical stat, and it goes since 1945, when the S&P has fallen 3 months leading up into the election, the incumbent president or party has lost the election 88% of the time.
Right. If the market falls, the incumbent loses. The market rises, the incumbent wins, and the market's been exactly dead flat, right?
Yeah. So it's like I put like
cool, great.
I put that daily chart where it's like
great stat.
2020, and we're literally exactly
dead
flat
flat.
for the year.
Nuts.
Yeah. But again, I don't know if you have that chart up, but we've been in that range between 360 and 320 in the SPY. Again, leading into these elections, everyone tends to make dramatic, financial decisions leading up to it, which tends to increase volatility. The day of the election, we should expect the futures to be up or down huge, and typically that knee-jerk reaction tends to be the wrong one. So if we initially see the futures down huge, we should expect, like Chick, you said, probably, some bullish trading the months ahead. And if we see the market, gap up huge, it's probably not going to be the best in the short term. But again, after we get through this week and the next week, everything gets back to normal.
Yeah.
From the market standpoint.
I think the one thing that's different about this year is that, like with all the mail-in stuff, it's not going to be as distinct. We usually find out that same night, November 3rd, like really what's happening. I don't think we'll really find out for a week or so. So, a little bit different in that regard. But until we have a clear-cut winner, I think we'll just see some extreme volatility. As you said, people making rash decisions before the election, things of that nature. But I definitely agree with everything you said.
Word. All right. So if you guys are still with us, hopefully you drop a little thumbs up. And then we can jump into the member ideas. If you want, we can start with David Taylor. This MODN he's looking at through this 36, 37 area.
Oh, yeah. I like this one. I mean, they have earnings coming up November 10th. That sucks. But so these bases have become these tiny little bases where you think nothing's happening. The stock's kind of dead. These have slowly become one of my favorite setups because once they break out of that base, they just fucking explode. We saw it in MYOK way. Oh, that's a tough thing to. HLF way long ago too. Where was that HLF trade? Let me find it real quick. Oh, this is a long time ago. But this is kind of what I'm looking at with this MODN here. Just a base that gets very boring, very quiet, and then once it breaks out of the base, it has a big move. That's what I would look for in this MODN.
Now, for this MODN, is this something where you would give it verse 34, which has been support, or would you give it verse that shakeout low, verse 33?
It's always best. 34, 33? Yeah. I mean, you always want to give it to 33, but that 34 has been such an area that's holding up. I'd probably tier my stops. I'd probably give some to 34, some to 33, so that I could get a little heavier on that 34 stock. That's what I'd say. That's what I say.
Okay. All right, next up we got Joe DeFrank, this ENSG through 61.
Oh, this is sick. I like this a lot. And this is past earnings? Oh, this is sick. This is really nice. I bet you they had good earnings. Looks really nice. Top right chart. Bull flag looking to take out, the macro resistance level a couple days after earnings. I love this setup. This is awesome.
All right. Next we got Yala. YALA.
Oh, yeah. I was talking with Ashish about this. It's tricky. This is what we were talking about. It's a really nice setup, but the tough part about these $9 names is you got to give it to $8, and that's 12% risk or whatever that is. which is always a lot to give a name, but the name does seem to move like $1.50, $2 a day, which is like 20%. So, I get the setup in that regard. It's a nice technical setup, but, I still like it. I mean, it gave a false breakout today, so that's never great. But overall, heading into today, it was a pretty good setup.
Okay. And let's see. Reed is looking at this. Well, he actually got in Snapchat today. So he bought Snapchat today up through 40 versus that 38.5 low. Now he's looking at his game plan for now because he's in it. His first target to take off a third is going to be through 42.5. He wants to leave a third versus the prior day low for the way he's going to trail. And then he wants to leave the remainder versus that 38.5, which was, today and yesterday's low.
I like that. No, I like this a lot. And when I saw him getting into this, it was definitely early for this name. You want to see this base out more, but always, what happens with the best earnings names, they never really give you too many shots to buy them. So he's buying that first pullback. It looks, and it was one of the strongest names on the board today. It's a very choppy day, but Snapchat stayed pretty strong. So you can't be mad at it. He had a great entry, kicking through 42.5. He could very easily achieve that tomorrow for a third of his risk. So you can't be mad at this at all.
Yeah. Completely agree. Next we got Sam. He had a couple ideas. Look at this KMX through 89. Pretty much this little area right here.
Yeah, I definitely see it. I definitely like the support buy here. Nice little area. They don't have earnings coming up. Very defined entry and exit area. You want to give it to this little pivot area. And it's not you're buying on the way up off the huge support level. I like this CarMax.
Yeah, I actually got in this a week or two ago, and it was a horrible trade. I just got in. I bought through 95. The real entry was 96, and this is such a better support buy. It held at 84 perfectly. This is such a better trade. So I hope he sticks with that one. He's also looking at this AMD through 78 versus this 73.5 area. That's support.
This is definitely on my list too. I'm waiting for this turnaround in AMD. They had pretty big earnings. They've just been such a winner this year. I'm just kind of waiting for that support to kick in. Don't want to be too early. I like how he's trying to buy through 78, which would have to be on the way up through this area. That entry location could change, but as long as you're buying on the way up through, let's say, a previous day's high or some sort of targeted entry, then it definitely makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, he got into this Triple M. I believe it might have been yesterday or on Friday. He bought up through 160 versus that 156.
Bought up through 160 versus that 156. Yeah, that's a nice entry right here. Gives us the pivot, gives us the inside day support buy, has earnings out of the way, and now it's headed back on its way up, buying off support. You can't be mad at that.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. All right, so that wraps up the member ideas. We have a couple social media questions. First one, this person is down 10% in Amazon, and he's asking if it's going to go back up, and then if he should start to short.
So his price, if you start to short,
yeah.
He's going to short the bottom and fucking buy the top. I love it.
Yeah.
So he's long from 3,300. He's kind of stuck. I guess he has no real plan. I think what he's got to do right now, he's got to look at this support level and use that as his kind of out. I don't know what his risk tolerance is or whatnot, but this 2870 area in Amazon is just such a huge support area. If that gets cracked, it probably heads lower from there. If it holds up, it probably bounces. I think it's that kind of simple with Amazon right here. Mm-hmm. So, I hope he learned a lesson about, making game plans when you get involved in things. He shouldn't start shorting a position he's down 10% in. That just makes no sense to me.
I don't know if he specifically wanted to short Amazon. I think it was just he's down in Amazon. Can I get back even? And then should I also start shorting? Which is a big, the craziest no, but that's what he was asking.
Yeah, so I think he's got to watch this 2870 area and see what happens there. If it fails that area, he's probably got to get out. If it bounces that area, buy some mo.
Mm-hmm. All right, next up we have someone asking about if the EV names are going to get back into play, specifically Ride, and we'll go through Ride first, and then we'll go to the next one. So
With Lordstown, Ride?
Yeah.
What did he say? It's getting back into play?
He's basically smoked in it.
Oh, his name looks horrible. The stock looks so bad.
He bought initially, I think he bought at 11, and then he added through 22, which I'm going to assume with a lot of these trades, it's always on the way down. So he bought at 11 on the way up, never sold, and then starting in October, as it started its drop back to zero, he bought on the way down, and now he's trapped hoping to get it. He's asking if they're going to turn around that hope of, will it go back to 30 so he can make money? Which
I mean, I can't see the future here. That's why we depend on price action, so we're not just playing the guessing game. You got to look at areas of support and resistance. This thing just hasn't bounced at all. It's just come straight down since the high 20s. So, until we see some sort of turnaround in the stock, not in like whatever headlines he's reading, it has to be the price action in the stock. That's when I would entertain anything in this. But this thing is literally just crashing.
Yeah. And then same for this. Next is this workhorse. WKHS.
All right, at least this is like coming to a previous like resistance and support area. This 15, 16 area. There's been a lot of buying in the past, but again, these names are just coming straight down for the past 3 weeks. So I mean, until you see that turnaround, you have to see it in the price action. You can't see it because you want it to happen. It's everything's just price action.
Yeah, I think even the main like story from both of these people is, okay, for the first guy who bought Amazon, the best stock in the country right now, and he's losing money in it, and he's like hoping to get even. Where before he got in, he was looking to make money. Now he's looking to just get his money back. And then same for this guy. He's in these two dog EV companies, and he's just hoping to get out for even. It's when initially that same idea was obviously to make money, and that's just a common theme we see with new traders. It's they buy on the way up, and then they end up selling on the way down because they don't have any game plans. Okay, so that wraps up social media questions. If you want, we can jump into the good trade, bad trade. And first up, we got Tom Ramsey with a room.
See it.
If you want to pull up the chart.
Oh. The failed support buy in VRM?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so, I see what he's doing. It had that support level. We've been watching this VRM for the past, little while. It failed the support area, so it kind of got off everyone's radar. The one thing he could have done differently is just set a buy stop above the previous day's high, and that would have, eliminated this loss. He cheated. It looked like he bought 46 when the previous day's high was like 46.20. That previous day's high, if you use that as an entry, 46.25, let's say, he never takes this trade. 46.15 was the entry. So it's the little things like that that can save you a lot of money in trading. I think that was the one real mistake. I don't think where he was looking to buy this was wrong. I just think those few cents. It's a game of pennies sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even for myself, like I was reviewing my trades for last month, and my worst trade was CarMax, and that was a trade that if I would have just paid up for the proper price, being 96 instead of buying 95, I would have completely avoided a 5% loss, and that was the worst trade of the month. So it's like if I just waited for the proper entry, I would have never got in the trade to begin with, and I would have avoided that worst trade of the month. So that's, again, very similar lesson with Tom. And then his next trade was this Pinterest, which he destroyed it.
Destroyed it. This is trade of the year, this Pinterest. And we were all over this one. Everyone in the chat, we fucking killed this trade. This is my best name this year. I'm sure it's a lot more than just my best name in the chat. Mm-hmm. But this is why we always follow the best winners with the best growth and the best sectors and things of that nature. This Pinterest, gapped up to this 30 area, was a huge resistance level on the weekly chart. It gave us a great daily flag in front of it, and then it took it out on earnings and began that vertical run. Now we're able to sell just below 70 when we were buying 38 just a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. And I think the main point also with this is a lot of people, especially during the earnings season, they're like asking how to trade earnings, and this is a perfect example where for Tom and as well as you guys are already up 50% in Pinterest going into earnings. So even if Pinterest had a horrible earnings and gap down, they're not going to necessarily gap down 50%. If they gap down 10 or 20, you guys are still in profitable positions. The fact that it gapped up, you guys were safe, where most new traders will try to buy it that day at 50, and if it goes up, it's great, but if it gaps down, they're stuck with it for the next quarter or even more. And that's one of those lessons where you got to be in that winner before you hold into earnings. You can't just buy it the day of or the day before and expect to get bailed out every single time. So that was one of those little earnings lessons that I keep getting DM'd about. So hopefully that was a little segment they can learn from. Other than that, if you want to go over any of your trades, then I'll go over one of mine.
I'll go over the best trade I did the last 3 weeks. You know what it was?
Nothing.
No fucking trade. Sometimes you don't have to put a trade on. My account is 1% off all-time highs. The market's fallen 5% the last 3 weeks. I'm taking that as a huge, huge win. I'm going into my mental capital going into the rest of the year is I'm ready to fucking go. I'm ready to fucking sling it after this election. We're going to be in the thick of earnings season. So I'm just so mentally ready for the rest of the year because I didn't trade the shitstorm that I was expecting over the last few weeks. Sometimes the best trade is no trade, personally. What you got from me, baby?
I only got one. It's this CSX.
Okay, I got it up.
The chart pulled up. So this was one where I had a buy stop limit into earnings. Again, we don't buy before earnings. We look to buy after. We use buy stop limits when they're triggering through all-time highs. This was one that was setting up. So I got triggered in. It went that first day and it came right back. Pulled into support, held at 75. So I'm still in. Not the best cost basis. So for now, I'm kind of just sitting with it. For now, we have to see if they can break this 84, 75 area and to go to new highs. But for now, I'm just sitting. That's been really the only thing I've done other than buying some of the sector ETFs just for weekly dollar cost averaging.
Nice.
So yeah, same with you. Just very light, just waiting for the storm to pass. With that, we can jump into any top ideas.
There's a few I'm looking at. I'll start. This YY kind of went today. I love this resistance level. China names have been just so strong. This Netflix, it's like, what's it going to be with this Netflix? Is it going to hold this massive support level? Kind of how we were looking at that Amazon. And it's like, this is either going to be a huge short or a huge buy right here in this area, this 480, 470 area. Right now it has the setup for an inside day support buy tomorrow through this 486 half area. I'm probably not going to take it. I'm just waiting the election out. But that's definitely one on the list. This 2U. This is trade of the week this week. It kind of triggered today, but didn't really break out too hard. Really great earnings, great growth. I like this company a lot. So through that 38 area, I'm watching this one. What was the last one? There were three. YY, Netflix, 2U. I just said three. And then lastly, I'm waiting on this DADA, DADA. It's not ready yet, but I think this name is going to 50 or so. Just how and when, I don't know. I'm just watching it for a setup. Those are the four though. Mainly I'm watching.
Okay. The main one I got is this 5 through this 140. If we zoom out, we can see that it's like this 136 has been an area going back to late 2018. But this is kind of one of those examples like for CarMax. I don't want to just buy in through 136. I'd rather just wait for that 140 when it's really ready to break out and push into those new highs. So that's the main one on the radar right now.
I like it.
All right, so with that we can jump into book of the week.
Surely, I'll start. I just got this. I just started reading this one. It's called Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Very good book. I'll just tell you about one of the chapters I just read. It was called Risk and Luck, and it just talks about how everyone has kind of their own. Everyone has their own perspective on money and how to handle finances and things like that based on their own experience. When their own experience is like 0.0000001% of things that's happened in the world versus in the grand scheme of things of what really affects the flow of money and things like that. And it just gives really great examples of two guys who for example John D. Rockefeller. He talks about how he's looked at as this business savant, one of the greatest capitalists of our time. But to do that, he was breaking so many laws to do so, and it would never be a great entrepreneurial tactic to say you have to, break these laws in order for your business to succeed. Where it talks about all these other guys who would do the same tactics that Rockefeller did, and they just didn't get lucky like he did. So it just kind of shows you that how did he put it? Just everything is very circumstantial, and it just has a great, very clear way of explaining it. I really like this one so far. I'm early in, so I'll come back with more gems for you next week.
Okay. And I got The Richest Man in Babylon.
Hey, classic.
Literally, I've sent this to probably 15 members already. I have every second page folded on here.
Nice.
So there's a lot of, again, this book is written about thousands of years ago, but a couple good lines. One is every fool must learn, but why trust the knowledge of a brickmaker about jewels? So in that chapter, he talks about the young guy coming up and he gets scammed because he gives this brickmaker some money to go travel and buy some jewels and bring it back, and it was just a scam. And he goes, well, why did you trust this brickmaker who builds houses to go buy you jewels? Why didn't you just go to a jeweler and have him get it for you? So it goes through those lessons of those common mistakes we make, which we see all the time, even with in our space, with people that 16-year-old with $1,000 accounts teach people how to trade. But then he goes through the 7 cures Of what the things he did to become the richest man in Babylon. First was save 10% of your income. Second cure was control your expenses. Third was make your money work for you. Fourth was to guard your money from loss. Fifth was to own your home. Sixth was to ensure future income. And then the seventh cure was to increase your ability to earn. So very amazing book. I'm going to keep sending this to our members each week. So I definitely recommend this one. Definitely top 5.
Top five. Cool. All right.
Yeah. So I think that wraps it up this week.
Wrap this shit up, baby. Let's get out of here.
All right, we're done.
With that, give us a thumbs up and whatever the hell he was saying before. Catch you guys next week.